So according to the Marysue, there is a reason why Link in Zelda Triforce Heroes can't be a girl, and the answer to that is disappointing. I would think that he can't be a girl because Link isn't a girl, he's an established character. But let's actually take a look here at what Dan Van Winkle has to say. Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes is the 3DS Zelda game that has to fill the void until the Wii U version surfaces again. And it's got a whole bunch of multiplayer Link goodness. So with a bunch of different Links running around, there's no reason there couldn't be girls, right? Actually wrong. Completely wrong, because they're all Link. If they were different characters like in Hyrule Warriors, then yes, the characters would be girls, or they should be girls, or they could be girls. But they're all fucking Link. It's just like Four Swords. Oh look, he sees it for himself. Wrong, according to the game's director. Yes, despite the fact that there can be several of the characters on screen... Characters, you fucking spaz. On screen at a time, letting players choose their gender would just be bananas anarchy. It's not going against some fucking mold to allow a playable female character in a Nintendo game. It's that they're not using female characters. They're using Link. And I'm sorry if this is a recurring theme, but it's fucking Link. I honestly wonder if these people think that Zelda games are really, really about Zelda as the main character. But anyway, the story was handed down on pre-etched stone tablets at the top of Nintendo Mountain and can never be altered. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but that's not too far off from what game director Hiroshima Shikata told IGN. So I'm not gonna lie. Shikata's quote isn't the best. It's probably not the best way he could have handled the interview question. But I mean, you know, I'm sure there's a language barrier of some sort. He was probably blindsided with this question about gender politics when he just wants to talk about his video game. But nevertheless, there's this kingdom, an event happens, and the king needs heroes. So he puts out a call for heroes to gather, and one of those is this guy Link. He sees this audition, basically, heroes needed, apply here, and that's the start of his adventure. So no fucking shit, it's a game where Link goes on an adventure. Crazy fucking concept, right? The story calls for this sort of legend prophecy where heroes will come together to help solve a problem, almost like Four Swords. And in that, they are male characters. So because the game is set with that as the story background, you cannot choose a gender, you are a male character. It would have been easier if you just said you're fucking Link. So I can sort of see how they could have a criticism, but at the end of the day, the character is still Link. They're not making a Sheik or Impa as playable. So then the author puts in a twatty rolling eyes gif of Liz Lemon from 30 Rock, and says, because how ridiculous is it to think that a girl might think she could apply to be a hero? Dan, not everything has to be a fucking social statement. I know it seems crazy, but for people who aren't 100% focused on gender and their own identity, everything they do, for the most part, has nothing to do with social statements. When Shikata is making a fucking Link game, he's making a fucking Link game. But most importantly, he's not saying that women can't be heroes. By the inclusion of all the other female characters in the series thus far, he can fucking prove that. But I honestly think you don't know about Sheik, and you don't know about Impa. Who are we to put such unrealistic ideas into young gamers' heads? Next they might start thinking of men and women as equal, and society will crumble. You what, mate? Like what? Again, this isn't a fucking social statement. It's a video game. But of course the story had to be about boys. Right? Of course. Has nothing to do with Link being a male character or anything like that, or a story being about, like, nah, fucking whatever. It's one sucky thing not to include a gender option in your game, but to justify it as, well, that's the story, so we're stuck with it, is so much worse. Is it? Is it so much worse because there's an actual story reason why a female character wouldn't fit in the narrative of their game? That's not worse. That should be better. It's like the end of Aladdin when the Sultan realizes he can change the rules so everyone can have a happy ending, only if the Sultan had instead said, I guess you two lovebirds are SOL. If only someone had the power to change things. Well, thanks for saving our asses, Al. See you never. I don't think these two are even remotely related, honestly. I think you just wanted to talk about Aladdin. But it's okay, because Shikata has some friends who are women, and they don't seem to mind. Dan, you've been really, really bad at completely representing people's points, or completely representing all of the points surrounding your story so far. So it doesn't really surprise me what you're going to do next. Because you're going to write Shikata's coworkers off as just female friends. As if they don't have anything to do with the creation of the game, the development of the game, anything. You're actually invalidating them as female developers or female workers in the games industry. And I assume you do it because it doesn't fit your narrative. But let's listen to what he had to say. Just as general information, we do have a lot of female staff members who are playing this game and enjoying it. It doesn't seem to be a big issue to them. They're still getting emotional investment in this game. So what this quote says to me is Shikata gives a fuck about how good the game is. And he gives a fuck about the opinion of the other female workers in the office, whether they be developers or just people, right? And I can only assume that these girls who are playing this game don't give a fuck because they're not that interested in gender fucking politics. I mean, I know I should expect this from the Marysue, and I should definitely expect this from Dan Winkle, but fuck man, you can't treat everything. You can't treat everything as a social statement. So why even bother trying to give additional options that may attract more players? Women who are Shikata's employees haven't called him into question over the lack of gender selection. That's probably because they don't care, and they've had no reason to keep that to themselves, right? Are you trying to imply that they might lose their job if they say, hey, can we throw Zelda or Impa or Sheik in as a playable character? Do you really think the games industry hates women so much that they would be like, nope, you're a patriarchy killer. Get the fuck out. We don't want you. Definitely no questionable attitudes to be wary of from someone who tries to justify this decision by saying, and to be honest, Link isn't the most masculine of guys in the world, depending on how you want to project yourself into the character. And you know, he's kind of right. He isn't the most masculine character. He's very much a blank slate as far as I'm concerned. If your desire to project yourself into every fucking character you play as was so deep, you would not have a problem even if he was a macho man. Then he says something fucking snarky, like, I feel so reassured. Fuck you, Dan. Although, like I said, I really shouldn't be surprised because of what he wrote back in March. Let's take a look at that, actually. Oh, hey, looky here. Why can't Link be a girl in Legend of Zelda games? Spoiler, there's no reason. Oh, and who wrote this article? Dan Van Winkle, our favorite writer from the Marysue. Personally, I'm all about Link as a stand-in for the player and getting a gender option in the forthcoming Zelda titles. But with each Link being a different person anyway, a female Link wouldn't bother me in the least. You don't understand how The Legend of Zelda works. This sentence just proves it. Because Link is always Link. Link is always going to be the hero of time. There are different Links all throughout time that form this mythos of the hero of time. So the hero of time is always going to be a reincarnation or a spiritual successor to Link. And in some cases, a direct descendant, in the case of Twilight Princess. And for all the people out there who say, but they should just make a game where Zelda is the hero. Yeah, that'd be cool. You know, it would be cool. And he's right. But this isn't a fucking game about Zelda. This is a game about Link. It's a mainline fucking Legend of Zelda game. They have spin-offs for that shit. We could have that too. Those two options aren't mutually exclusive. It is, in fact, possible to make more than one game with a female protagonist. Yeah, he's actually right here. It is possible to make more than one game with a fucking female protagonist. Which is why they've made multiple games with Samus as the protagonist. And in later Mario games, you could play as Peach, you could play as Toad, Toadette. In Captain Toad Treasure Trackers, you play as fucking Toadette for the second half of the game to rescue Toad's stupid ass. These games exist, you're just fucking willfully ignorant about them. So when he says, it's possible to make more than one game with a female protagonist, I do believe him, because they've shown they can fucking do it already. But he also says, he could understand where the current state of gaming would lead you to believe otherwise. Dan, the only reason you believe that is because you don't play Zelda, you probably don't play video games, and you work at the Mary fucking Sue. But there's no reason, when all it would take is some new voice clips, a slightly different character design, and some pronoun changes, you know, that seems like a lot of work. That's honestly a lot of fucking work. If you have a game that's already finished, or a game that's already in development, you have to re-record all that sound, meaning you have to get the voice actor back in the booth, pay them double what you were already paying them. You need to pay your artists to redo the character design. You need to pay the modelers and programmers to fix that character design and fit it into the game world correctly without it looking like a copy-paste hack job. And then you have to basically find and replace everything in the text, which is, that's the little thing. If you just done that, if you just said, play find and replace with the script, or with the dialogue in the game, then yes, that would be a little work. But everything you've laid out so far is kind of a lot of work. Not to, at the very least, give players the option for Link to be female when the character is already intended to be a placeholder for the player. Link is intended to be the placeholder for the player in the exact same way that the Master Chief is supposed to be the placeholder for the player. In the exact same way that Samus Aran is supposed to be the placeholder for the fucking player. They're the main character that the player controls. No shit, they're the placeholder for the character. That much is indisputable as far as I'm concerned. But they'd alienate their core male fan base. That defense is founded on so many baseless assumptions, it's hard to know where to start. And all the rest of the arguments I've seen, I'm pretty sure are just different ways to fill in a false equivalence Mad Libs. You know what I'm gonna do, guys? I'm gonna go to Dan Van Winkle's house, because I'm a farmer, and I need straw to feed my horses. And it seems like all Dan does, all he does when he's writing for the Marysue, is build straw men. So, since he's building these straw men and cutting them the fuck down, I might as well just go to his house and see if I can borrow them. I mean, he's already cut them down, so he's probably not going to use them anymore. But seriously though, no one is fucking saying that Nintendo will alienate their core male audience by making Link a girl. They're going to alienate Legend of Zelda fans who give a fuck about the story. And on top of that, you fuckers aren't even going to buy it. Nintendo's 2014 E3 press conference showed a strong grasp on what their audience likes to see, and with recent iterations of Smash Bros. Did a great job with gender-swappable characters with Bowser Jr., Wii Fit Trainer, Villager, Robin, and even Martha and Lucina in spirit. Again, this person has no fucking clue what they're talking about. When you swap the costumes on Bowser Jr., you're actually cycling through, I believe, 8 different children of Bowser that are actually 8 different characters. They're not just fucking palette swapping, these guys. And with Wii Fit Trainer, you do have a point. That is just basically a palette swap. But that's because the Wii Fit Trainer is male or female. Because it's not someone who has a fucking character. It's literally a blank fucking slate. Literally a blank fucking slate. And they're not even a fucking protagonist. And with Villager, again, those are different models of possible villagers. Villagers are customizable characters. So for them to only include one would be fucking stupid and misrepresentative of what villagers actually are. Robin, again, is a customizable main character who can look any fucking way you want. Because Robin's character isn't established. It's not a character that's been in every Fire Emblem game. So when you get to fucking Marth and Lucina, Marth being a character who's in every Fire Emblem game, and Lucina, from playing Fire Emblem Awakening, is just Crom's daughter from the future, who is really fucking obsessed with Marth, that's not a fucking gender swap. They're 2 completely different characters. I'd love to see them build on that going forward. I just hope they don't base their choices too much off of Hyrule Warrior's sales performance, because no amount of playable characters could boost my interest in a decade-late Dynasty Warriors spin-off. But why couldn't it? If you take a look at Hyrule Warrior's playable characters list, half of them are female. Half of them. Out of 20 playable characters, 10 of them are female. That sounds like something you'd fucking enjoy. I'm just done with this shit. I don't think I'm ever gonna go to Marysue again. I guess I was asking for it by even trying to show up. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Maybe subscribe to me, maybe go over to Twitter and follow me. I talk about Gamergate stuff, it's pretty fucking cool. Have a good one. Bye.